obviously I know you, and I kind of probably know most of the answer. I got to see firsthand just your impact on the window film community when we went to the WFCT. I always mix up the letters in that one. And obviously it's probably attributed to the year that you've had, but I think just it was very cool to kind of sit back and see just people kind of pour in from everywhere, whether it's just getting a handshake, a hug, or a t-shirt that they knew that was there. What is the key to keeping those relationships in a positive light that you've had them? I think just the longevity of people knowing who you are and understanding like how good of a person you are, which I think is why the outpouring of love kind of came through this past year. But where do you feel that comes from? And what advice would you give to other people to kind of have a similar feel to kind of have those good relationships?
Well, obviously, I'm very humbled that people feel that way, and I don't take it for granted. And I think one of the reasons that, I've just always tried to be genuine. I mean, I'm a Christian, and I, the old golden rule, treat people the way you would want to be treated. As simple as that sounds, I've just always tried to live that way. And I'd like to feel like people that have interacted with me don't feel like I've taken advantage of them. And I just, I'm in it for the long haul. I'm not trying to make a quick buck today and then tomorrow, I'm off and people feel like I've burned them for money or whatever. I've just never taken that tact. I've never been really focused on, like, I've always been embraced people from, even when I was working with Lumar and Vista and Formula One or 3M, I've never had adversarial relationships with other film companies or other reps. I've always tried to be like, hey, we got to do what we got to do, but we can still be friends. And I feel like just being yourself and treating people well and not feeling like, I'll leave it with this. Like I'm not trying to use, weird words or whatever, but I'm a big abundance mentality type of guy. I do not feel like for me to succeed, somebody else has to fail. So to me, that's opened me up my personality to be like, I can be friends with everybody, because for me to succeed doesn't mean that other film company has to not do well, or that other tool company, or that other marketing company for that matter. So, I mean, I definitely am humbled. I don't take it for granted. I just feel like I've tried to, hopefully honor those friendships, honor those relationships by being honest and treating people the way I would want to be treated if I were in their position. And hopefully over the span of a career that works out well for you. And I don't take anything for granted, but I always, I've had certain people, as anybody has had, that, have had this, we've had disagreements, and I've always even tried to not confront those people, but approach them at those shows and say, hey, again, not to go back to another biblical reference, but it talks in the Bible about as much as it's possible, for me, live peaceably with all men. And I've always tried to look at that. Like if I'm not getting along with somebody, I want to do everything I can from my end to get along with them. They still may choose to not want to get along with me or to have an axe to grind with me or whatever. But as much as it's up to me, I want to do everything I can to have a good relationship with that person.